We will close with my topic. My topic, Citizens Bank recently announced a new fleet of credit cards. Are they interesting? No, not really, but one of the cards in particular, the Citizens Summit Reserve, is launching with a $295 annual fee, but they put a little twist on it. If you have a Citizens Quest checking account, this is a checking account that requires like at least a $25,000 standing balance to waive the fee, the monthly maintenance fees, or $5,000 in deposits. It's not a simple, flat, no fee, no worry checking account like for a student. It's like a legit checking account. If you have that, you're going to get $200 knocked off of your annual fee. So you're only paying $95 for the card. This is a card with travel benefits. This is a card with decent multipliers, 1.5 times 1.5% cashback base, gives you TSA global entry, pre-check, all of that. Some World Elite MasterCard benefits, the works for $295, but they're going to give it to you for $95 if you have a certain checking account with Citizens. Now, if you're a Citizens private client, this $295 annual fee card is free before any of the credits that they have on the card. This is a card that now has no annual fee and gives you all the other travel credits that are associated with the card, all the other perks that are associated with the card. They're not crazy expensive perks. They're not crazy amazing perks, but it's enough of a travel card to say, hey, we have a travel card. But this setup with the annual fees has me thinking, would you make your relationship with a bank more exclusive? If Chase Private Client would let you waive your annual fees, how quickly are you signing up for Chase Private Client? If American Express had a concierge level banking or like an extra level above their checking account that was like private client level, but you got to hold all of your charge cards for no annual fee, would this be something you would love to see your issuer of choice do? And obviously the answer would be yes, but like how would you adapt your relationship with your bank of choice? I'm not going to say Chase specifically or American Express specifically because maybe it's another bank. But if you could get your annual fee reduced based on your relationship with your bank, how much would that buy your loyalty? And RJ, I'll go to you first.
I don't think it would. And it's as simple
Okay.
as I don't make what they're looking for in terms of the money kept in these accounts for it to matter. Like, I make a good
Okay.
amount of money. I am comfortable. I make more than quite a lot of people around me, but I don't make $250,000. Like, I don't have enough to put $50,000 into a Smartly account to get earn more, right? Like, I just don't have the amount of money they're looking for. Now, if it's keep $1,000 in an account, yeah, probably not a problem. But what they're looking for people to do is not that. So why would I hold $1,000 or hold $20,000 or hold whatever hostage that I might legitimately need that I now can't access because if I do, then I'm going to get hit with this like credit card annual fee that's going to be on top of whatever money I pull out, right? Like to me, as somebody who makes good money but doesn't make like great money, like I'm in that sort of bubble of comfortable but not like I can buy anything I want, but I have to think about it sometimes. You know what I mean? It's that level of comfort. These
Right.
things don't appeal to me because I'm just not able to do what they want. It's why Bank of America, even if I did cashback, Bank of America doesn't hold a lot of water for me because they require me to put so much into their accounts that I just don't have. So, would I love if these things happened? In theory, yeah. But the problem is that the practical side of it does not work for me. Like, I don't like not having access to my money, all of it at all times. I just don't like that. That is a me thing. That is a growing up in the area I did, growing up how I did thing. I want access to my money at all times. I don't want it in a CD. I don't want it into an account that I can't access for 6 months so it gets better interest. I don't want any of that. I want access to my money when I want access to my money, and you damn sure better not be holding it for longer than I deem necessary or federally necessary based on like banking rules. You deposit a check and it takes a couple days before you can pull it out. Like that I get. But like my money is my money and you will damn sure not get between me and my money. So if I have to keep $10,000 into an account, that's a non-starter. I have to keep $1,000 in an account. I don't want to do that either. So if it's just simply having an account, that's one thing. But as soon as it crosses over to you have to keep X dollars that you can't touch, no, just no. I take credit cards and banking as two completely separate mindsets. As willing to apply and as screw it, there's a sign up offer that I really want in credit cards that I will go for. I am super small c conservative when it comes to banking and when it comes to the accounts I will hold and what I will do on the actual paycheck investment side of that. I'm diametrically opposed when it comes to those two categories. So for me, absolutely not. But that is a me thing.
Got it. What about,
That is who I am.
so in place of waived, what about the reduced?
Again, I don't want my money to be held hostage. So having an account, if Amex was like, hey, if you have an Amex checking account and your direct deposit has to go in, you don't have to actually keep the money in there, right? You just have to get your direct deposit through us. Then yeah, sure, why not? Because then I can move it wherever I want after. I do bank with Amex, so that wouldn't be a problem. But there are times when I've had to pull all my money out for a family emergency. And I've had 25 bucks into a savings account that usually has several thousand. So why do I want to put myself in a position where I might be penalized for that? I don't. Like, I don't want that. So for me, with who I am and how I handle things, that is not appealing. It's just not. Now, for somebody who makes triple what I do and keeps bank accounts with money stocked to do things the way that I stock points, I absolutely understand why it would be appealing to them. It is simply because financial side and the credit card side, and I understand it's all finance, but I'm making a distinction there between banking and credit cards. There is a solid brick firewall between those two things for me. It is not negotiable. It is not permeable. It is not, I don't sign up for bank bonuses. I have very few actual bank accounts. Everything is locked and loaded that way. I do not play on that side of the pond. I play in credit cards and only so much as I can afford to play in that field and always have enough money in my account to pay my bills in full. That is what I do. I enjoy the Wild West of credit cards, but I do not enjoy that on banking whatsoever. I do not enjoy my money locked up whatsoever. Absolutely fucking not. No. There will be no blackjacks and hookers in my bank accounts. Not a single one.
All right.
That's a Futurama reference, folks. Just FYI.
It is.
Cheers.
Caught that one really fast.
Lonnie, your thoughts here?
Yes and no. I'm always supportive of helping or assisting with an annual fee. As RJ so politely threw me under the bus inadvertently earlier, I am the guy that pays over $3,000 in annual fees for all my credit cards, which is roughly about $300 a month, high $200, maybe low $300 a month if I were to break that out. Now, I approach it in a different way, but the issue that I have with that is, for example, like you use Chase Private Client. One, it costs money just to get in there. It costs money to also, you have to hold in there to stay in there at the same time. Now, if you got the extra funds, then sure. But that's not where I really have my gripe. My gripe is that Chase is notorious for having the absolute worst interest rate in North America. Like, it's pennies on the pennies of the dollar. It's that
bad.
Where you could put that money anywhere else. Now, I agree with RJ to a sense where I like to make sure that like I have access to a portion of my money. That is the rainy day fund. That's when, then life happens. Can I go 3 months, 6 months on that rainy day treadmill fund if I need to? If that money is locked away where I can't get access to it, that's a problem. Now, there's other things that you can do. One, high yield savings account. Just put it over there. You're going to get more than what Chase is going to get you. Even the worst high yield savings accounts are going to pay you more than what Chase pays you, period. When people talk to me about their finances and trying to help them with their finances and things like that, and they say, I bank with Chase. I'm like, that's the first thing. You got to get rid of that. You got to let that go. great to have their credit card, not great to have their savings account. It's just not. But even Amex has a high yield savings account, and it's not bad. I think they do 1% for their checking account, which is absurd in this country. For their checking account. Like, just, you like to bank with the cards you have? Switch to Amex or SoFi. The other option is investments. Now, you don't have to know a lot about investments to get into investments, but you need to at least do some research on what type of investments you want to play, because some are safer and some are a gamble. And right now, our current political and economic state is a giant gamble. But it's a good place for you to put your money if you need to pocket it somewhere where you can have access to it. You can sell your stocks or your investments at any time and pull that money out. It might take a day or two processing time or whatever, but you can do that. The whole point of everything that you're saying is going back to the annual fee. There's ways around it. There are ways that you can subsidize, save on that annual fee. Heck, go take a part-time job in the reserve, and then Amex won't charge you any annual fees. You work 1 weekend a month. And I only say that because I know people that have done that because they didn't want to pay annual fees for high annual fee cards. I'm not doing that. Love my country. I'm not doing that. So I'll pay my $3,000 a year. Not worth it for me. But for them, that was a good deal. And they're already like military-focused military families anyway. So they're not just doing it to save $500. So no, they're not doing it for that. But I think, going back to your original purpose of the question, that the banks should assist with annual fees if they can. And I don't care if it's Chase or Amex, but let's just use Amex because I prefer them from a banking standpoint more than I prefer Chase. Or I would 100% recommend them putting your money in Amex's savings and checking accounts than I would for Chase, is what I really mean. As you grow financially, and maybe you start off in sophomore year in high school with your first job, you're only making a couple hundred, maybe $1,000 a check or something like that, then yeah, that puts you at one specific tier. And then when you get into the credit card space, when you start having certain amount of money on a consistent basis, we will support you in getting into our cards. This goes back to my original question of pick one ecosystem or another. This is one of those ways that can help not just the annual fee, but also help that particular bank or business by saying, this person is not going to leave because we give them too much to leave. It costs too much for you to leave now because you might end up like Alani and have $3,000 in annual fees. But at this point, we're waiving 20% of that for you. You leave us, all that money comes back. Right. You switch banks, you switch to SoFi, all that money comes back. And the reason why I say it like that is because SoFi actually does that, where you get one APY, but if you have direct deposits or direct deposits of a certain amount, you get a higher APY. Now that has nothing to do with your annual fees, because they do have a debit card, they do have a credit card. I know nothing about their credit card because I'll never probably want one. But the point of it is that these are the types of measures that could be borrowed by credit card issuing banks to help with annual fees. And at the same time, to RJ's point, allow people to have access to their money if they don't want to do something in a different financial risk area, i.e. put in an investment, put it in a C&D, maybe put it in an IRA or something of that nature. They want to have that when I need it, I can click my mouse or type a machine and I can pull it out, or talk to a person and pull it out and I can take it. But there's a risk to it. I have to keep X amount. And that also creates financial goals to say, if you were to have $15,000 on a consistent basis, we're going to take $300 every single year, like every month of the year. The next year, we're going to take $300 off your annual fees. That also would be like, I cannot dip below 15K because I don't want to pay that much. You see what I'm saying? So it's a little convoluted, but you can understand like the structure that I'm trying to build about answering your question, agreeing with RJ, and finding a solution for the consumers that all work without just saying private client. You want to be a MX Black Card holder, then you need to spend $1 million just to get in the door, just for us to look at your application, not even to get to the door, just so will send you the application to fill out. Those types of things I think are a little bit absurd, and they're too far-fetched. There's a lot of us listening or watching right now that will probably never ever get to that level. Not to say that it's impossible, but I would say if anyone watching is going to get to that level, it's a smaller number versus the larger number.
Yep. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I just found the whole structure of it interesting. It's something I would love to see other banks emulate. Now, yeah, there could be issues and you have to have the liquidity, your personal liquidity there to do it. But if there was something like a program that Lonnie was talking about where you start from the beginning, start from the bottom, and then you end up here, great. Bad old reference, but there we go. That would be fantastic, especially as like you grow into the cards that you can get where, oh, maybe the Wells Fargo autograph journey is typically $95, but you've had a long and consistent relationship with Wells Fargo that has had no issues. You have a consistent balance of X. We're gonna chop off $50 off the card. Oh, and if you use that $50 credit, guess what? It's basically a free card. Free, because the $95 still comes out at one point, and then they just anyway. The same could be said for the Autograph Beyond or the Capital One Venture or Venture X. If you have a long-standing relationship and like they gave you that glide path up, that would be great. So maybe something like that going forward would be a way to start ecosystem lock-in early. To our earlier comments, where like Chase and American Express can buy ecosystem lock-in at this point, but if Wells or Citi or Capital One or some other bank wanted to jump in and try and make a play, probably taking that Citizens route where based on your relationship with the bank, you can get those reduced annual fees, and then if you leave, like you're going to pay the full annual fee going forward. If you don't want to do that, either stay or cancel your card. Yeah, it was just an interesting concept that I saw that like when I was doing that video, I was like, huh, that's cool. I wonder if other banks would be keen to do something like that. And then I went right back to recording about the Sapphire Reserve because it's all I've talked about lately. So tired of talking about it. Please let this news drop. All right. Thank you both for your thoughts there.